that he had done something to it. Once again, we are 4 young women. So yeah, enjoy. It had been some time already that I wanted to rant about the cops and how utterly useless they were to 4 terrified young women. Disclaimer, English is not my first language. Apologies for my mistakes. This happened about a year ago. I was living in a bleak neighborhood, meaning that if you are a woman alone, you will get catcalled and bothered in the streets, maybe followed by insistent jerks if you are unlucky. But it was also mostly families. No hard drug consumption, so the buildings were always safe and there were always people to help. I lived with 3 roommates, all of us women in our 20s and students. On my floor there was only one other apartment, in which an elderly couple lived in. Super nice and really involved in the building's life. They have been living in the apartment for 40 years. The husband had trouble walking / moving. One night, I am woken up by super loud screams and banging on our door. I get out of bed to go see, and 2 of my roommates, the last one, slept through it. To this day, I do not understand how she did it do as well. We are in front of the door and we realize that the guy is actually banging on our neighbor's door, so loud that we heard it. We did not want to turn the light on for fear that he would see it under our door and try to get in our apartment. We are in the dark, talking as quietly as possible, so he will not hear us and so we can listen to what he says. We look through the peephole and the guy has something in his hand, but we can't see if it is a weapon. I do not live in the US, so no gun, but maybe a knife. The guy is screaming for my neighbors to come open the door. He is calling them by name, saying that he is going to get in and that if they do not open the door, he won't be kind to them. I call the police and the operator asks if there are ways for them to get in the building. We have no way of opening the gates remotely, so I tell her no and that they will have to find a way to get in because the guy is clearly trying to harm my neighbors. She says, why call if we can't get in, and hangs up on me. My roommate then calls the police again, and fortunately it is another operator that picks up and sends a patrol. By that time, the guy has stopped screaming, but is still in the hallway, and we can hear a weird noise coming from our neighbor's door. He leaves the building by the elevator, and we are debating whether or not one of us should get out of the apartment. Try to get to the first floor, not by the elevator, to open the door for the police. But we don't know if he is still in the building, so we stay inside. After like 10 minutes, we get out of the apartment to see if our neighbors are okay, and we see that the guy has carved a giant X on the door, so definitely with a knife or something sharp enough. The police gets here, does not even get out of their car. They just take a circle the building 2 times and leave. We never heard back from them. You can understand how livid we were. But later learned that my neighbors were on vacation for the week, so the apartment was empty and they escaped a probable heart attack from the sheer madness that was this night. I got the wife on the phone and she was like, no, need to tell my husband. It is probably a deranged old tenant. It won't happen again. And I was like, Mom, there is a giant X carved on your door. He is going to find out that a psycho tried to hurt you. A week later, I come back from work and see 2 policemen in the elevator. Apparently, some teenagers found it amusing to block the elevator on the 10th floor, so they came to give them a fine or something. I tell them the story and they tell me, next time you should call the police, and I was like, no. Bleep Sherlock, I would never have guessed that on my own. So anyway, I moved out of this building a few months after. We never had something that extreme happen again, but we got 2 more weird things happen to us. One teenager, like 17, bangs on our door to ask for painkillers for his grandmother, and likes strong stuff like the equivalent of tramadol, so obviously we did not open the door. One guy tried to give us food. He was weirdly insistent about it, even though we refused like 4 times, and came back to the apartment twice. The last time, he just left the bag of food by our door. We did not take any risk and threw everything out for fear that he had done something to it. Once again, we are 4 young women. So yeah, enjoy. It had been some time already that I wanted to rant about the cops and how utterly useless they were to 4 terrified young women.